I have a very constant fear of failing and an even more constant feeling of being a failure. And I can't even explain it because on some level I understand that I'm not actually failing in life. And I know that I'm doing pretty much everything I'm supposed to do for the path that I'm on right now. And still, these thoughts and feelings never seem to go away, and I figured if I'm having these feelings, there's a chance that someone out there is feeling the exact same way. So instead of studying for my midterm, as I should have, instead I decided to research a little into this topic on the fear of failure and what I can do to stop feeling like this so much of the time. So let's get into it. In psychology, an intense or irrational fear of failure is called atychiphobia. I was reading through this article from the Cleveland Clinic, which is where most of my research for this video was done, so I'll be sure to put the link in the description below if you want to learn more. But essentially, they said that this fear isn't just nerves, it's actually tied to our fight or flight response. When we face a task that we think we might fail, our brain's amygdala, which essentially serves as our alarm system, can unfortunately perceive something like a bad grade as a literal threat to your survival. And that's why your heart begins to race when you're trying something new or doing something out of your comfort zone, because your brain is literally trying to protect you from, I guess you can say, a social death of being judged. So that kind of covers our bases for the fear of failure when we are starting a new task, hobby, or job. But say that doesn't apply to you. You've been at this job or school for some time, you're used to the work that you have a routine, everything is planned to a T. So why do you still have this crippling fear of failure in everything that you've planned so perfectly? I relate to this so much, and this was my question that I began my research with. And the answer usually lies in a messy overlap between perfectionism and what some psychologists like to call the fragility of success. You begin to associate yourself with that perfection. You aren't just a person anymore. You're a person who never misses a deadline, who's always on time, who will never forget their homework. The moment you feel like you might slip, it doesn't just feel like a small mistake to you, it feels like an identity crisis. And there's also a specific phenomenon called the fear of discovery. So even if you're doing everything right, you might be also struggling with imposter syndrome. You feel like all the work that you've done, all the good grades that you've got, all the impressive stuff that you've done at work is just you getting lucky. And because of this, you're terrified that the next task that you get is the one that will finally expose you as a failure and a fraud, even if none of that is true. And of course, the last aspect of this is the idea of control. The more we plan, the more we try to control the future. But failure is, by definition, something we simply can't control. So the more perfect your plan is, the more sensitive you become to tiny things that are just out of your hands. And you're not actually afraid of failing the task, you're afraid of losing the version of yourself that has it all together, who is organized and ready for anything. And trust me guys, I know this so well. Right now, literally on my desk, I have 10 different to-do lists, and they each serve their own niche purpose in my life, so I don't feel like I'm losing track of all the stuff I have to do. And I will say, if you can relate to that, you should like this video and subscribe, because we should be besties. Sorry for the shameless plug, I had to, but back to what I was saying. I know I've listed a lot of reasons as to why we are feeling this way about failure, but I also think it's important to talk about ways to not feel this pressure weighing us down. I was actually able to find a few things that could help, and they're all about making failure less scary. The first thing we can do is simply redefine failure. We need to stop seeing failure as the opposite of success and start seeing it as data. It's basically just information from your life, and it tells you what works and what doesn't work. So from there, you can pivot and come back stronger. And also remember, if you're trying something new and you're scared of failing, it's okay to not be good at something. Remember, you're in a growth mindset. So think of this not as I'm not good at this at all, but I'm not good at this yet. And hopefully that takes a little away from your fear of failure and the fear of trying at all. Lastly, it's important to just be kind to yourself. Remember, I think this is a really great rule of thumb, but treat yourself like you treat your best friend. If your best friend failed a test, you wouldn't just go and be like, oh my god, you're such a loser, unless you're a terrible friend. Instead, you would probably comfort them and tell them it's okay and that they'll pick themselves back up and they'll try again and be better on the next test. At the end of the day, the only way to truly fail is to let fear keep you from living a life that actually feels like yours. And it's a bit hypocritical of me to say this because I am still working on this mindset, and it's taking me some time to learn that messy attempts are okay, and we all need that to grow and to build on ourselves. So if you've been holding back on something because you're scared, consider this your sign to do it. Even if you do it terribly, I promise you, you will feel better later. And if you're feeling lost in the spiral of feeling like you're a failure, trust me, you are not alone. And hopefully this video can be like a small community where we can talk out these feelings and emotions and feel less alone. I wanted to thank you guys so much for being here and for all your support. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you in the next one.